It's Wednesday night and I find myself missing Enfuego. We haven't been over there in months. It's probably been like twice in the last calendar year. It's too long, I miss it, but it's 6:30 on a Wednesday night. I'm in the middle of my afternoon at 6:30 on Wednesday night. It's too early. It needs to be 9:30 so I can make it over there and enjoy dinner. Anyways, I am going to complain about fog lights here I'll try to keep it to 90 seconds. So we've got this 03 M5 in titanium silver in from Northern California. Guy wanted new fog lights and he's like, oh, reuse the bulbs. I put these LED bulbs in there. I love them. They're really good. So reuse those. Well, for starters, every time you start the car, check fog lights, right? Because they're LEDs. So the resistance doesn't compute for the LCM, so it thinks the bulbs are bad. Fairly easy fix. We code out the hot and cold checks for the bulbs and just disable that in light module programming, which works. It's a Band-Aid solution. Now you won't know when that bulb doesn't work anymore, but no more warnings. So he's having us replace the housings, right? So I take the housing out today, try to take the bulb out. The back of the bulb just spins in the housing because the keyed part that actually snaps it into the fog light housing is a separate piece from the electrical, bulb and socket part of that bulb assembly. Well, that means you've got to use pick tools and screwdrivers to try to get in from the side. And you can picture there's three prongs. One of them is like a square and the other ones are kind of larger and have beveled edges on them and they only fit one way, and then you rotate it 30 degrees and it locks. Well, not with the aftermarkets. You got to use a tool to go in there and try to pry them back counterclockwise. And if they've been in there too long, that'll be a nightmare and you'll have to replace the housing. And it's just aftermarket shit like that keeps me up at night. This stuff drives me nuts. What is the point? A fog light is designed to cut through fog from a low vantage point just off the ground. It is not supposed to be a 40,000 lumen, let's just drive with fog lights on. That's not what it is. So I know you can buy these Chinese, whatever, Indian aftermarket parts that you screw in there and, oh, look, it's brighter and it's more white, but it doesn't work. It's not serviceable. It doesn't satisfy the electronics of the car. That stuff drives me crazy. And I'm trying to come up with a way to just tell customers, oh, you got aftermarket stuff in there? I don't touch that. I'm not working on that. I'm not touching that housing. I'm not diagnosing electrical faults. I'm not doing coding for that. But then I'm cutting into my service menu and I'm making myself less attractive to the customer that, oh, he can't do this and he can't do that. But this stuff drives me crazy because it doesn't work and it takes 5 times more time to work with. And you've got to go through all these learning curves. And what the hell was wrong with the standard 9000 6th grade incandescent bulb? Absolutely nothing. If you wanted a white one, you could get a Ziza one that would better match the color temperature from the xenons. We're over 90 seconds, I've got to move on. As I mentioned on Monday, I ordered a crap ton of parts for the Jet Black 02 540. And the majority of those from our third-party suppliers arrived yesterday on Tuesday, and today, Wednesday, a lot of them came in from BMW. So I totally filled the 540, the trunk, the back seat, the passenger footwell, the passenger seat. I mean, it was just overflowing with parts. And these are some of the larger things, like genuine BMW only parts, such as bumpers. The bumpers were delivered, but the cowl and just trims and things that are only made by BMW. So I picked all those up today. Over the last 2 days, I've got to have, let me think about that, 6.5 to 7 hours of time checking in parts, which is significant because you've got to take this and cross-reference it and find it in the thing, get rid of the ordered tag and put in a ready tag, write the customer's name on it, take items that are for the same job and staple them together. Tons of parts just come in plastic bags and they're not labeled. There's no part numbers. It's just like a bag full of 20 different nuts and they're all different shapes and sizes. So I've got to be able to figure out what nut is for where, what's the application, how many of these, how many of those, and then label them. Here's, quantity 6X ending in 374 for front strut pinch mounts, and all that just takes a ton of time. But that got done this afternoon and then got back to the car with fog lights. We're like 22% on that project. The rest of it requires a lift and both lifts are consumed right now. So that was the day. Talking to Larissa inside, had pizza for dinner. Now shortly after 11, I'm gonna get to bed. Tomorrow already Thursday. Speak then. Night.